Welcome to the Daily Debrief, an inside look at today's big story. I'm Amy Abdelsayed, and Raiders tickets are out, but prices for home games are not cheap. Joe, how can people get their hands on tickets?
Well, aside from ponying up a lot of cash, I guess that's the only way you're going to be able to get in because it is literally one of the hottest tickets in town right now. Just some quick searches, really quick on StubHub and Ticketmaster. We're talking at minimum $800 for the first game, which is totally crazy in terms of if you look at the other teams in the league. I looked up 10 teams and they're not even really that close in any way. There's a lot of anticipation. It's a new stadium, no fans inside yet. So there's a lot of reasons perhaps why, but we might be seeing like Vegas pricing in action here.
Do we know why that is?
Might be seeing some kind of elevated price just because people are so excited, and a lot of people bought tickets as kind of an investment. So we're seeing a lot of these tickets that are going up for resale because people bought them anticipating that they would be selling them for quite a bit more than what they paid for them to try and make a profit. Well, last year that didn't happen. It was a total wash of a season in terms of fans being allowed. So they had to sit out an entire year after ponying up all that dough for a personal seat license. So it looks like they may be trying to make up this money with a vengeance because I was looking at the other teams and you're talking maybe 60, 80 bucks per ticket, about a tenth of the cost of what one ticket is going for the very first game at Allegiant Stadium.
What about Raiders away game prices? Are they noticeably different?
Looking at the Raiders, you could theoretically travel to another city and watch them play, and it may be cheaper for you to travel, buy a ticket, and enjoy it in another stadium versus watching it at Allegiant Stadium. So I was just looking around, and I'm looking at it right now, and the cheapest ticket, if you wanted to go to maybe like an away game, the Las Vegas Raiders at Indianapolis Colts is from $77. So a fraction of the cost of what the very first game is going for, but they're anywhere from maybe $77 on the low side up to maybe, I'm looking at the Los Angeles Chargers, $217, still, more than, half of the cost of one ticket on the first game, but considerably less when you see them traveling outside of Allegiant Stadium for sure.
Are there any plans in the works to make games more accessible for the average Las Vegan who wants to see their new team actually play at Allegiant Stadium?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we wanted to know the same thing. We reached out to the Raiders and say, hey, look, like what's going on? Are there any single game tickets? Do you have some that are going to release so they can be sold and maybe be a little bit more reasonable in terms of the average Joe being able to afford to go to one of these games? We haven't heard back just yet, but from what we understand, there was a substantial amount of personal seat licenses, those ticket licenses that were sold ahead of time. A lot of those were sold. So, we believe that a fair number of the seats are already spoken for. They're already owned, necessarily by somebody. So it's really up to maybe the resale market and the secondhand market for people to kind of sell it. And we spoke to some experts and they say, well, we'll see what happens. The schedule just got released today. So we'll see what happens in the future in terms of the price fluctuation and what happens. But it's up to the market and whether people think that's a good deal and whether they're going to pay for it.
Joe, thank you so much for your time. For more on today's big story, make sure to visit ktmv.com. For now, you're watching KTMV streaming Las Vegas news on your time. Stay with us.